Okay, today we're going to be talking about deal making. This is homework video number 7. The two things I want to make sure you get from your notes is how congressmen make deals with each other, and we have to explain how other outside interests make deals with Congress. So, how Congress makes deals with each other, congressmen. The first thing they do is something called log rolling. This can also be called horse trading, quid pro quo, or tit for tat. The idea here is the trading of favors to obtain passage of laws in each lawmaker's favor. A lawmaker is a congressman, like a senator or representative. So for example, this could look like a lawmaker. Let's say a senator from Ohio who's on the Education Committee really needs a bill on the Agriculture Committee to get passed because it'll really benefit the farmers in his district. Therefore, he might go to the people on the Agricultural Committee and see if there's anything that they need or want done. If they need him to vote for something, if they have an education bill that they really care about that he could put in his committee through, on the promise that they put his bill through the Agriculture Committee. So you're trading deals. And this is completely legal as long as no money exchanges hands. One kind of log rolling is called implicit log rolling. This is the idea that large numbers of lawmakers trade votes to pass legislation. For example, Democrats agree to pass tax cuts, which Republicans like, and Republicans agree to pass gun control, which Democrats like. So this is, basically a big compromise. So they each get something that they want, something that's good for them. Distributive log rolling is a little different. This gives lawmakers specific provisions, which are lines in a bill, to make them vote for it. This usually takes the form of pork. So here's two options for that. 1, give a lawmaker a provision in the same bill being voted on. So we've talked about this with health care. So an example with health care would be if I'm a senator from Nevada and it's going to be hard for me to vote for the health care bill because there are a lot of people in my state who don't really like it, then in order to get me to vote for it, they might give me a $200 million hospital for my district in the bill. Now I've got something that I can show to my voters, like here's why I voted for this, look at this great hospital we get, so they can kind of sweeten the deal, making an unpopular decision. The second option is it could give a lawmaker a provision in a different bill being voted on at a later date, or even in advance, depending. Now here's some examples. This is the one I just said. The senator from Nevada gets a $60 million hospital in the health care bill to ensure he votes for the law. In a different bill, giving the senator from Nebraska a provision on the agriculture bill in exchange for the senator from New York getting a provision on the tax bill. So you're trading deals, and they both vote for each one. Now, the question about this is dirty politics or just getting the job done? We'll be reading an article on Thursday all about this. Pros here are that there's voluntary trade can lead to increased efficiency, speed, and stability. Because both sides win, they're willing to vote for stuff. Our government doesn't get shut down. Things get done. We pass laws, both liberal and conservative. Wins for everybody. And the idea is compromise is an essential part of government. We want them to make compromises. Otherwise, why would we have Republicans and Democrats serving together? Cons, though, or it could lead to too much pork. If we're just giving $100 million objects to every person to get them to vote for the law, laws become very expensive very quickly. This tends to benefit powerful special interest groups, so in general it's kind of the rich that seem to get what they want. And it allows congressmen with powerful positions too much power over others. It's almost like blackmail. Oops, sorry. What is this? Sorry. Alright. So, don't mind those last two slides. Now we're going to look at how outside interests make deals in Congress. Special interest groups, if you don't remember, are groups that want to pass and or influence policy or laws, but they don't run their own candidates for office. They seek to get access to Congress to get them to write their laws. So they want to get things to benefit their members. For example, the AARP, who we just learned about, they try to get laws that benefit retired people and make sure that their benefits stay up. But they've got to get access to Congress to do this. They've got to make sure the laws don't change if they like them. So here's how they can try to actually influence Congress inside Congress itself. We've talked about these before, but first big one is lobbying. This is direct contact of officials. You could call, email, meet with a congressman and or their office staff. You can also socialize outside the office like dinner, happy hour, and other events. Now, something we didn't really talk about are hearings. If you remember, when we talk about how a bill becomes the law, when a bill goes to a subcommittee, one of the things that they do is they have a hearing on it. And if you're an interest group, you could be the one to come in and provide expert testimony at these committee hearings. Now, you are under oath, on the record, and can't always control the questioning. It could potentially be hostile. And sometimes you don't even have a choice. If you get subpoenaed, you have to come and testify about what you think about the bill. But in general, interest groups want to be here. They want to be at the hearings. They want to be able to get their opinion on the record to make sure that they're being heard by lots of different congressmen. And if you're a powerful group like the AARP, Chamber of Commerce, the National Rifle Association, then you might get what you want. Another thing interest groups can do to influence Congress is provide research. So they have offices and staff, and you could potentially work for one of these interest groups who they do reliable research and studies to support what they want. This is especially true with science. But it allows congressmen to support what they're doing with evidence. Now, it is oftentimes biased. If you are the AARP, you are going to be doing research to show how Social Security is good, and how Medicare is good, and how these protect old people and make our economy great. And so you're going to find evidence. It doesn't mean it's a lie. It just means that you are focusing on what you want to find. Now, one of the things is that the more money an interest group has, it usually means the more studies they can do and the better scientists they can pay. And so they will pay for studies and experts to find evidence to advocate for their group. All right, here's what they could do outside of Congress to try to influence Congress. The big one is what we call electioneering. This is helping congressmen win elections. They can provide campaign donations, either in the form of hard money or soft money. And they could also provide campaign services in the form of volunteers. Another thing they can do is called the ratings game. Here they inform the public on what congressmen are doing. The NRA is known for publishing information on any congressman who votes against gun rights. The Brady campaign does the opposite. This is supposed to get to their members so that it can try to influence Congress. If you live in a state with a lot of members of the NRA, and you know they're going to publish to all their members whether you voted for a bill about gun control or not, you might reconsider how you're voting. The ratings game also involves the interest groups analyzing how different congressmen vote on specific issues, like the environment, gun rights, whether they're conservative or liberal. And so they'll publish the results and give you a rating, like Congressman from North Carolina voted for gun control 85% of the time. Now, in the NRA's eyes, that's really bad. They want you to vote for it 0% and have a perfect rating. So if you vote liberal, they're going to totally put up any ads they can against you. They're going to publicize this information. They're going to try to get someone to run against you. Now, the issue here is whether or not money, in fact, is talking to Congress. Is Congress swayed by money? On the yes side, we see that on big, complicated, and technical bills that don't get much attention, like the tax code, business regulations, environment regulations, they can get certain provisions or lines in the law that benefit them. In one study, we saw that for every dollar spent in lobbying, a business could get $22,000 back in tax breaks. So if they spend $1 million lobbying, and you can bet they spend more than that, they are actually getting $22 million in tax breaks. If they spend $10 million, $220 million back. That's huge. On the flip side, it's unclear if politicians would have done their actions anyways. If you're a Republican, you're going to vote for tax breaks. That's what you do. If you're a Democrat, you're going to vote for help to the homeless. It doesn't mean the homeless paid you off. So just because they were lobbied doesn't mean they changed what they were actually going to do. And that is an important thing to think about. All right, that is our lesson.